What's up, everyone? So the Jacksonville Jaguars have just finished their initial 53-man roster. That means that the team has cut down the roster from 90 men to 53. And I'm here just to give you some quick hits on what I think of the roster. Let's just go through sort of the skill positions and then quarterback. Um, Starting with quarterback, keeping Nick Mullins as Trevor Lawrence's backup, that was always expected. Nick Mullins was brought in to sort of help guide Trevor through this offense. Obviously he spent time with offense coordinator Grant Uditsky. He was able to sort of mold and help bring Trevor along this offseason in terms of the footwork and things like that. Trevor's talked about it, but that's not really a surprise for running backs. I think everyone had take Bigsby as a guy who was potentially on the trade market, but it seems like he's good to go. It seems like he's going to be on the roster for the time being. Five receivers. I mean, I think I kept saying it on social media. If you guys follow me on there, I just said it just makes sense for the fifth and sixth receivers, maybe not even to be on the roster. Austin Trammell, during the broadcast on Saturday for the preseason game, James Gladstone, the GM, was in the booth and he talked about Austin Trammell specifically. So I figured that he had a pretty good shot of making it. He has familiarity with him and with Liam, I believe. So that always made sense, but still, the six wide receiver not being on the roster, I still think that they're going to be searching for a guy who can maybe come in as that big body receiver. And I guess we'll see from there. Tight ends, Hunter Long, Britton Strange, Johnny Munt, none of that is a surprise to anyone. That was always going to be the case, barring injury. Offensive line, same thing. If you've been reading my 53-man rosters, it's the exact same thing that they've put out. The defensive line, this is where it sort of gets interesting. They kept two undrafted free agent rookies, Danny Strigow and then obviously B.J. Green the second. I know B.J. Green had gotten a lot of steam lately, and I was a little bit surprised because I had heard, maybe Ogba is a potential move on, but they kept him as well, and really went heavy at that end position. Emmanuel Ogba, Danny Strigow, B.J. Green, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker. It's a pretty stacked group, and then obviously DeJuan Smoot. He's made the initial roster as well. Now these things can change. Perhaps they don't keep both Danny and BJ after today. Who knows? The roster is still in flux. There's going to be waiver claims. I expect that this team is going to be one of the teams to be a little bit involved in that. And then defensive backs wise, pretty much exactly how we all thought it would go. The only note I will say is that Caleb Bransaw, the rookie third-round pick, he will not be playing this season. He's out for the year, was put on season-long IR in addition to all the other moves that the team made. And then at linebacker, Jalen McLeod, another draft pick, he was put on IR, but he's designated to return. So he can return after 4 games, and we'll see where they go from there. But for the most part, this initial 53 is about what I expected. There's not very many surprises. This staff and this leadership group is trying to turn over the roster. It hasn't been necessarily the best and most smooth builds over the last few years. So this was always expected, where they're going to mold the players or mold the roster to their vision. By bringing in the players that they think fit. So sorry this went a little bit long, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there real quick and talk to you guys later.